Hello, YouTube viewers. Once again, welcome to the Depression. This is Fred's channel. Thank you for your subscribe to the channel. Thank you for the last production. We have done so far so good. I've received a lot of comments for the last production. We have been on the series of free engine generator and how you can design a free engine generator. And for some time now, we have been discussing the series of things that concern free engine generator. Last time we talked about how you can power a different generator using a single electric motor. We use two meter system, we use also three meter system, and so on. And we have been discussing so far so good. Today we're going to look at another area which I know it will also help you out. It's another simple way to set up a free generator. For instance, this is a good system which you can see in this place. Just a generator and electric motor with a connection. And this is a very simple way to set another free generator, which I believe most of you would like to adopt. It's a very simple, very easy to carry out. It's just a straightforward. This is, as you can see, this is 12 kVA system, and this is just a 1500 RPM. Now, for you to be able to run the system, you need two things in common. After setting the base, you must have a join. This is join that join the generator to this one. Now, when it's properly joined now, you can see that this is just a ready machine which is connected to the generator, and this is the electric motor that is also connected to the socket. Now this generator light is being sent to this board. As you can see, this is a pure board. So when the generator is on and then the switch is plugged on, automatically you see the system will start working completely, because the generator here send the voltage to this board, while the motor feed from this board. That is why I have this diagram, so you can see now. It's a very simple diagram where you have a power source in. There's a power in here, which is what you see it here. This is a power in for this motor. This motor now receives power in from this place. This is what you see, power in now to this place. That's this motor. Now the generator now also feel after the power enter, then the electric motor will start. Electric motor will start it, which is what it will happen here. When you plug this board in, when you plug this into this board, the motor will start. And when the motor starts, the generator will start generating light, which is what you see here now. The generator will start generating light now. On this the bulb, which is this one now. For registration purpose, you see, this is the bulb now. This is the power out. This is the bulb. Now you have to tap from generator source to supply to the motor, which is what you see now, because the generator has already raised the voltage to this board now. So we have to tap here. This is what they come in here. This place now is tapping. But remember, the generator, the motor must have additional power supply before you can tap it to this place. Like what you see in this diagram here now. You see that this diagram here, if the motor had to receive from the generator, that's why you see these two tapping here. This is a cable 1 and this is a cable 2, right? Negative and positive and positive and negative. And what now get from this place now and move and return it back to this place. That is the way you have it too. Now this area you see here is area switching, which you're able to switch over to the from the external power source, not the main generator. Now we see this point here. This within this place, you also have to switch, because when you plug it, when the generator sends the voltage to this place, you have to on this motor, so that the generator can be able to release, can be able to feed from generator supply, which is the board here. This is something we have done here. So it's a very simple system. But what I want to also show in this diagram here is the area of RPM. This is 1800 for the motor. So the RPM of the motor must always be the same with that of the generator, or if possible, RPM of the generator of the motor should be higher than the generator. Why? Because the higher the speed of the motor, the higher the voltage produced from the generator. Right? Get it? The higher the speed of the motor, the higher the generator voltage. So you must the RPM, which is what you see here, is 1800, should be of the motor should always be higher than RPM of the generator, or it should be equivalent. If it cannot be higher, then you should make it equivalent. In this case, where most of my design engineers, most of them who are subscribed to my channel, always sense some issue of having a low voltage. Maybe this voltage switch over when they want to use or when they want to start up the system. And one of the reasons why sometimes this happens is because your RPM here of this RPM of the motor, which is this one you see there. The RPM of the motor sometimes is lower than the generator. And if the RPM of the motor is lower than that of the generator, you will always experience slowdown in the voltage produced, because it means they are not matched. It's like carrying a very small engine and mount on a very big truck. Definitely the engine cannot be able to carry the truck or run the truck at the speed at which the truck would have moved. And secondly, if the truck carry a very big load, like maybe carry some heavy equipment, it will find the engine will find it difficult to run the truck because of the load. The same way applicable to the system of a fuel generator. When the RPM of the motor is very low or lower than that of the generator, and you load it like what you're going to see here now later on, and you load it, it will slow down the production of the generator at that, and that will now affect the motor from running because it's already low. But if the RPM of the motor, which is this one, is higher than that of generator, it will now compel generator to run at a very maximum ratio, which will now enable it to produce the maximum light that will also serve as a feedback to this system. So this is a very important point I would like to communicate to my subscriber today, because most of the question they ask is almost always related to the area of slow down voltage or switch off when they are designing, and that is most of the time is always caused by the RPM of the motor. Most of that, so don't look at the RPM of the motor before they mount the motor to the generator. You just pick any motor from nowhere as a construction generator without considering the RPM. So this area I want to draw attention on today. Now, another thing also I want you to know is also the area of the configuration, which I already see. Now, sometimes we look at this configuration system as if it's not important, but I want to tell you it's very important. As you can see in this place now, there's a board that this two join, this one here join the motor and this one join generator. And you can see there is a board here that hold this iron very firm, and then it's properly screwed. This is very important because there's a similar experience I watched in one of the construction engineer, what a young guy did. He wanted to construct an helicopter. I think that young man is from Pakistan, something about. He did a very good job. He constructed the helicopter very well, put everything intact. But when he was about to test this helicopter, he entered the helicopter and was starting the helicopter to fly. Immediately, the fan, the rotating iron, as you can call it, the fan or rotating iron that rotate helicopter loose, and when it loose, therefore the back fan cuts the young man's neck and kill him and straightforward. So what am I trying to say? This is not to bore you or to bring fear to you, but when you are doing construction as a construction engineer, you must always put safety first. You must put safety very first, because except you don't have a good idea on construction, don't do it. Allow somebody who knows the job to do it. Because, for instance, now if these two joints are not properly joined, and then you plug this motor into the light, the motor will spin, and sometimes this thing can lose and hit somebody, or even hit you, or cause destruction to a property or something closer. So you are always advised to firm this thing. You always construct them, tighten them up, and test them first, and you sure that whatever you are doing here is very, very correct, to avoid a breakdown or lead to a death or one thing or the other. So you are doing construction, always put safety into construction and firm it as you only see the light on and start the mountain.